Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Coast OGL and this is Golden Cave TV, and today I'm going to be talking about the new draft leaked OGL 1.1 that has been talked about quite often in the last recent weeks and last recent days. Now, a couple of disclaimers. I'm not a lawyer, so this is all going to be just opinion. And I do have a copy over here of what I believe to be that document. I've got it from another content creator who has said that they've had it confirmed to them that this is the license. Now, the other thing is, we don't play Dungeons and Dragons here at Golden Cave TV. We haven't had a Dungeons and Dragons game for quite a while, and we haven't got any intention of doing a Dungeons and Dragons game for a while, or at all actually. We specialize in a lot of different systems, and that's kind of what we're here to do. So I'm coming from this as an outsider. I'm not even a content creator when it comes to publishing and writing and things like that. We don't do books. So we come to this as an outsider, but I'm also an outsider that have been around the industry for close to 25 years. So I've been playing games and being involved in stuff like this since before Wizards of the Coast got into the industry themselves. So let's have a look at the stuff and let's talk about stuff. I will probably have a few things that I want to talk about in a different video. I do want to talk about the games which are affected, which I believe to be affected, both previous, current, and future games, of course. But at the moment, I just want to have a talk about what I've found in my readings today of this document and just see what you think of it. Also, some of the stuff here is stuff which I don't think, well, some people have talked about, sure, but getting my eyes into it as well, there's a few things that I've picked up too. So this is the document over here. As you can see, it's quite a lengthy document. As the Gizmodo says, it's like 9,000 words, whereas the previous license was 900 words. This is actually two documents in one. So this is the commercial and non-commercial versions of the document. So it's about half that size. Then there's a huge lead-in. So this whole section here is a lead-in. This is the, blah, 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 nothing legalese, nothing at all. There's also comment section and other bits and pieces. So there's a lot of bits which probably will be absolutely taken out when it comes to a final document. And this is just a draft proposed document. So it's not even what is believed to be leaked. And it's kind of what really is happening behind the scenes. There's a few people that are now saying, yes, this is it. But there's also some weirdness going on. Like, why was this given to people under very strict gag orders, essentially, but giving them only 7 days to either sign up or not, and therefore getting a discount, someone's even mentioned. And if they do sign up, then great, they get a discount, great. But they've got 7 days. That's really quick. But also, they were apparently given this after Christmas when a lot of law firms will be closed, a lot of businesses will be closed, or at least a lot of people were out and about and not actually in the... It's kind of a weird timing, really weird timing. But I don't know the full stuff on that. I've just been hearing a few things, but everyone's been talking about other bits and pieces. So we'll get into this. What's non-commercial? So I have been highlighting the stuff. So what's non-commercial? Accepting voluntary donations via tipping and stuff like that, it's okay. But if you put it behind a paywall, then like say Ko-fi or Patreon, it's commercial. That's where that comes in. The stuff that we do on the channel, our shows, it's not even got anything to do with this. It's got nothing to do with this at all because we go onto a fan license thing anyway. So we'll skip a lot of this as well. The OGL was for creators in 4th edition. That was apparently quite restrictive. So the first OG open game. So yeah, the OGL creators need to register their stuff, and they need to do a lot of bits and pieces. But we'll get into that. We'll skip down to they're talking about updating the OGL 1.1. They're not talking about as a new OGL. This is an update. That's the legal language they're trying to use. An open game license is an open game license. Usually you wouldn't have to register a product or have it approved or all this type of stuff, sign contracts and all. This seems to be a lot less OGL than what they're portraying, because the previous OGL 1.0a has been around for 20 years. And not just that, but it's also got it's allowed a lot of people to produce a lot of stuff because it's so open. And this, it also said it was a perpetual thing as well. This is not perpetual, and is saying that the old one is no longer perpetual. It's now abandoned, like now null and void, because they're saying that this is an update to the other one. It's not saying it's a new one or it's a replacement. It is an update. So they're using that legalese or this legal wording as a way of getting around the fact that the old one have stated that it was perpetual. Also in recent times, when there was speculation, initial speculation came out, there was a press release saying, oh no, there's nothing, the OGL is not going anywhere. Of course it's not, it's just being updated. So it's not being replaced, it's just being updated. From 900 words to 9,000. That's a bit of a serious, it's not 9,000. A lot of this can be thrown out. This whole top section can be thrown out. And again, you split it between the commercial and non-commercial. So we're going to skip the commercial. So skip the commercial. I started marking the commercial and then found out, oh wait, there's two parts. So I'll go down to about page 8, I believe. This is where it goes to commercial. This is the one that's going to affect. This is the big scary. A lot of this is also going to affect non-commercials, but these are the big scary. If you want to try to make a living off this stuff, if you want to try to make any income at all, that's not, well, it's not minimum money, like you're not going to be able to do something, and this is going to be affecting you really big. So commercial, what's covered, what's not covered, all the bits and stuff, it's all in there. I'm not going to go into the details. It's not really important. I mean, it's important when you're doing it yourself, but in the context of all the other stuff, far more important things are here. So you create use, works covered, you create use of any, you create for use or as role-playing games for game supplements, printed media, static electronic files. They're talking about EPUBs, PDFs, printed material. Does not allow distribution of any other form of media. So they're talking nothing else. That includes, I've got down here, virtual tabletops or VTT campaigns. There's a lot of stuff on Roll20 at the moment. As you know, we're a Roll20 ambassador. A lot of stuff on Roll20. That's going to affect a lot of stuff. If the previous one is abandoned and this is new, but we'll talk about that soon. We'll get to that. Computer games, novels, apps, graphic novels, music, songs, dances, pantomimes. I don't know pantomimes, but sure. So we've got content creator badge. I've seen a lot of like D&D, like 5e compatible like badges like that. Yep, sure. But it's kind of be like an approval of this is licensed through the OGL, blah blah blah. So you'll have it on the books, on the material. So we may offer others the ability to use licensed content or unlicensed content under any conditions we choose. So there's the big warning of like, yeah, we get to choose what's going on here. Identification of licensed content. You must identify your licensed content with content, so of which content is yours. So this is something that is a bit more detailed than what we're used to. In the 1.0a, the original one that's been around for 20-something years. When I say 20-something years, 2000 is when it came out, and now being 2003. So 2020, yeah, 23 anyway. So you just had to say this also contains the OGL stuff. But now you have to specifically say what is in there. Now it does say you can have it through like different designs, different fonts, italics or whatnot, specific bits, like specific reference of where it is, but you need to be able to find it. It does say, I've got highlighted in blue, it is not enough to simply include a statement that your licensed work includes licensed content, what used to be called open game content. So that You just can't do. You need to be specific every single instance. You need to have a way of indicating this is the SRD stuff. That's a lot of stuff on some books. So leveling up with this agreement, I think this leveling up stuff, it's media bullshit. This is really, really tacky bullshit. So this agreement covers all commercial users, whether they're profitable or not. So even if you make a loss, you're still, yeah. Note if you appear to have achieved great success that is consistently meeting or exceeding the expert tier, which is 750,000, for a period of several years, we may reach out to you for a custom mutually beneficial licensing agreement. And them reaching out to you instead of you reaching out to them. And it's over several years. So it's a bit of a dodgy thing. Initiate tier, essentially if you earn less than $50,000. When we're talking about earning, we're talking about total amount sold, not profit. None of this talks about profit, which is really, really important and really, really damaging. Intermediate tier between 50,000 and 750,000, and expert tier over 750,000. Now, Wizards of the Coast, they've said, only maybe 20 companies or groups might be affected by this. I've seen Kickstarters get out of control. We do a lot of Kickstarters here at Goblin Cave TV, and I've seen Kickstarters get out of control and just go skyrocketing above what the original person thought was even possible. So you can hit 750,000 accidentally on a Kickstarter and more. So if it's a Kickstarter has openly said or has admitted that they have got a better deal for the people that raise things for Kickstarter or through Kickstarter. So I've got a new microphone stand which is slipping. It's brand new today and it's slipping. But yes, they've said that they've openly admitted that yes, we've seen this and that people that go through Kickstarter for their OGL stuff, they get 5% discount. Yay! Which is actually isn't that bad, but because they're still paying maybe 5% or 10 or 7% or whatever. I've heard different numbers to Kickstarter, so they're already paying someone else. So to get a little bit, yeah. But they've also said, hey, the agreement's not for us. This is between the content creator and Wizards of the Coast because we're just a platform. Yeah. But also the thing is, if you earn above that 750,000, you're getting hit by 20% essentially tax on top of everything you earn above that. So every dollar you earn above is 50% or 25% tax or 20% tax if it's Kickstarter. So it's 25 normally, which again, this is gross revenue. This is not profit. And so you're losing 25% of gross revenue before profit. That's a big hit when you're putting yourself out there to create something. And you're doing all the work here. You're doing a lot of work here. And yes, someone has made the base, but you're putting a lot of work there. You're putting all the risk here, and they're taking 25%. If you're not kickstarting, if it's kickstarting, it's 20% plus whatever Kickstarter takes as well, which might be upwards of 25% with everyone combined. So it's a lot of things, and it's a lot of work. So why the tiers? I mean, this comments things, like you've got comments here, and throughout, if you do the full thing, these will be removed in the final thing, I'm sure. Why the tiers? For one thing, it's Dungeons and Dragons, and even our lawyers play. It's possible we're not actually sure how to design something without some form of leveling up. Wow, that is just poor taste. That is really, really poor taste. Especially when you're talking about 20 to 25% revenue. Not profit, but revenue. it's just, to me, is really, really fucking poor taste. Reading that was just a shock. So a few things that you need to do. You need to register. So you need to register your product. You need to give them everything, pretty much everything. As soon as you make $50,000 in gross revenue, again, not profit, revenue, then you need to start essentially talking to them and giving them details all the time. And you go up to the new tier. Yay! It just feels wrong. It really feels wrong. But if you get over the 750, yeah, you get hit. And you got to keep, if you kickstart and get like 750,000, you then have to have like records for the next 3 years on top of that, just in case you go back up to that, as a heads up. And they can move that tier up and down wherever they want, because if they have like 100 or 200 people that are hitting 700,000 and just stopping all revenue every year, they might just move down to under that to then pick them up into the new expert tier to get more funds. Now this is all apparently coming from a revenue call from December to Hasbro, where Hasbro's went, yeah, we need to monetize Dungeons and Dragons more. That just a scary statement. That's a very gamer statement, as in gaming industry, computer gaming industry statement of monetization, loot boxes, etc. I'm surprised they haven't decided on loot boxes somehow, although you could say yes in some ways. A lot of the assets that are given out, a lot of the source material these days are pretty much pay to win, because they're not, I find they're not balanced. That's my opinion. That's why I don't like the game. Anyway, we'll move down. So royalties, 20 to 25%. That's been covered by other people, so I won't go into a huge amount of it, although it's still massively important. If you don't pay them on time, then they can charge you 1.5%, or what's allowable by law. Or they can also, there was something else. Also, if they think you're underpaid, they can charge you for the accounting to figure out if you're underpaid or not, which I find is quite annoying and quite petty. So we've got crowdfunding stuff. It talks about it quite a bit, which is quite important. It is an important thing. Crowdfunding is a massive thing at the moment in the industry, has been for the last 5 to 10 years, and has been growing a lot because of the OGL. Not just because of OGL, there's other titles coming out that are not linked to Dungeons and Dragons or the OGL, but a lot of games are. So, payment. So the 1.5%, if they think you've underpaid by more than 10%, they can charge you for the accountants to catch you. Again, petty. And you got to keep up for 4 years or 3 years after hitting that expert tier, just in case. I mean, a lot of Kickstarters I see, they do one big Kickstarter, then that's it. They've got no other product. They've spent a year or year and a half, 2 years on one campaign. They've done it and went, yeah, no more. I just no more. But for this, you have to keep chasing it. Yeah. Okay, what else we got? I'm trying to keep this as quick as possible. Stuff I found at the back. 1%. Yep. If it's the bottom. Yep. Okay. Termination. This is the important stuff. So termination. They can terminate this whenever they want. You can terminate it in certain ways. They can modify the agreement and give you 30 days notice. They can post the changes on their website, making social media announcements, but they don't have to tell you, which seems weird. And by changing it, if you're now in breach, well, you're in breach, and they may terminate you. They have the sole right to make decisions on whether you've breached things or not. And you're not allowed. So To be clear, we have the sole right to decide what conduct violates section V8 or H.G. essentially, which is about morality and about other bits and pieces. It's actually like about racism and sexism, stuff like that. It's a great clause, but they have the sole right to decide what's what in there, and you agree that you will not contest such determination via any suit or other legal action. So you're waiving legal stuff. Like if they say, oh no, this content was racist or sexist or whatever, you have no recourse at all. So the extent necessary allowed by law, you waive any duty in good faith and fair dealing we would otherwise have in making such determinations. You have nothing at all to contest that. You bring action against challenging our ownership of licensed content or unlicensed content or any patent or trademark that owned or claimed to be owned by Wizard of the Coast. They can terminate you if you try to say, hey, wait a sec, you don't actually own that. And they can just terminate you for that. You may terminate the agreement, sure, but they've still got your stuff. They still have your stuff. When you apply, you have to give them their stuff. They have the right to then use your stuff, sell your stuff, whatever they want to with it. It's theirs now. Sure, it's yours, but you've also given them permission to do whatever they want with it. So they can terminate the agreement and still keep it and still sell it or still use it for whatever they want for content in the future. It's theirs and you've terminated it. Sure. So what I mean by the stuff above, which like the section 8G and H is actually, it's here about transphobic, homophobic, racist, sexist, stuff like that. They reserve the right to terminate over that stuff. And again, here it is here. You waive the right to sue over our decisions that we issue. If we somehow stretch our decision of what is on our objectionable, so what is not objectionable under these clauses too far, we will receive pushback and bad PR. Oh, damn, we've been naughty. They think that's okay. They think that the bad pushback, community pushback and bad PR, we're more than open to being convinced that we've made the wrong decision. And nobody gets to use that threat of a lawsuit as a part of an attempt to convince us. So you can't sue them, but they'll listen to bad PR. Who the fuck are they? Elon Musk? I'm sorry, that's just, I mean, yeah. Hashtag open D&D is trending because of this. I think because of that, actually. So that's just fucking, yeah. Sorry for the swearing. It's not usual, but wow. Upon termination, you need to cease distribution, sales of your stuff. And in exchange for any form of revenue, you just can't do it. You then go into the non-commercial if you're ceasing, like if you have to give it away, it's non-commercial, you're still bound by the license. Oh well. Indemnities, this is what really got me. Like we're right at the end. I didn't want to go very far. We're right at the end. So yours, here we go. Indemnity. If you get into any legal trouble or get us in legal trouble, here's what will happen. If we are on receiving end of any legal claims, excess expenses, penalties related to your licensed works, you're responsible for paying all our costs, including attorney fees, costs of court, judgments, settlements, etc. So if you cause it, you pay for our costs. I mean, it's annoying, but actually, sure. If a claim is raised against you in connection with our licensed work, against essentially what you publish, and you aren't defending your claim to our satisfaction, we have the right, but not the obligation, to take over the defense of that claim against you. If we do so, you will reimburse our costs. for the response for our really super expensive lawyers. I'm not kidding. That is what that red shit says. That is what that section here says. So it's what? Section 11B. Wow. So they can also, at their discretion, intervene to defend themselves in your case. If they're linked in, but we'll pay for our own stuff. At least that's okay. But I think that one above, if they don't think you're defending yourself well enough, they reserve the right to come in, take over, and charge you for their defense of you. Which, I mean, how expensive their lawyer is going to be. This is Hasbro, essentially. Anyway. The products. We can't and won't cancel products out of fear that they... sometimes great minds think alike. We can't and won't cancel products out of fear that they be viewed as similar to our licensed works. But nothing prepares us, i.e. Wizards of the Coast, from developing, distributing, selling, promoting something that is substantially similar to what you just made from our license. So, I mean, they say they won't cancel products out of fear that they might be similar, but they're going to promote their shit over yours. Or you've given your stuff to them, they can just use yours, and they can, because you've given them rights to it. Wow. So you own the new original version. Nothing. We've got that. Yep. You own the new and original content you create. You agree to give us non-exclusive, perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, sub-licensable, royalty-free license to use your content for any purpose. They can make a movie out of it if they want. They can make songs. They can do whatever they want out of your content, and you gave it to them by signing this stuff. Wow. Miscellaneous, there's not much more here. Anyone notices it? Anything that you send to us must be via email. We can choose email or post. I think that's a bit bitchy. Any prior agreements you made between us are no longer in force. So if you made previous stuff under OGL 1.0a, no, means nothing. If you had a custom in contract with them, no, means nothing. Updates, amendments, Wizards of the Coast may be necessary for us to update or amend this agreement in the future. They can do essentially whenever they want, give you 30 days notice. You have the right to either proceed under the new terms of the updated or amended agreement, or go back to that termination stuff and quit. So they can change it on you and force you to quit. That's that simple. That's really one-sided. Assignments. The rights granted under the agreement are solely to you and not transferable. This is what got me, actually. So they can stop you from selling your company to somebody else because it's for you. That seems a bit bitchy. Severability. In the event that any part of this agreement is held unenforceable, the rest still stands. So governing law jurisdiction, class waivers, you can't, each party, so you can't, here it is, you waive jury trial if there's any dispute. It has to be in their jurisdiction, which, yeah, companies are going to do that stuff. But each party hereto irrevocably waives the right to participate in a class action, collective, or other joint action against this. Yeah. So you can't even like class action. That's it. That was the last thing I wanted to say. So, do you want to do D&D? I mean, there it is. There's the playtest website, beyonddnd.com/1-D&D. There you go. Do you really want to play it? Do you really want to join it? It's not going to affect us a lot. I had no interest in having further D&D stuff on the channel. Our cast members know this, and they know my opinions on it. I want to do another thing, another recording about what games, at least in my collection personally, are affected by this, because they're claiming that the OGL 1.0a that's been around since 2000 no longer is existing. Like no longer will be in effect once this comes into effect. They're saying that won't be in effect, which means previous other companies might not be able to sell the stuff which they have. Some companies still are, some big companies at that. Other companies have their own inbuilt systems, like Call of Cthulhu. Evil Hat says that all their stuff is theirs. And there's a few others that are similar, but still, a lot of people have jumped on that Dungeons and Dragons bandwagon, and not just Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition either. We're talking, this goes back to 3rd edition. So I might do another video on that, but leave your comments down below. What's your thoughts? What are the things that stand out for you? What hits you the most of this agreement? There's a lot of stuff in here. I've only tried to skim a few things to keep it quick and short, but what's your thoughts? Yeah. Leave your comments down below. If you like, subscribe, all the bits and pieces. We have 3 shows a week here at Goblin Cave TV. We have a ton of previous content. We still have a ton of highlights that we're releasing from last year that we're still doing that. Goblin Cave TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, while it still exists. Thanks for that today. Bye.